Here we go. It's
We're
good to see
back.
your face, kinda. I mean, I don't
I
want
know,
to give you that
it's
much,
always
much of
good
a
to see me.
compliment.
It's always good to see me. Always.
It's been like 2 weeks.
The world needs me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Nobody needs me. Let's just be honest.
Your part of the world just is terrible because it rains every day.
We need sunshine so bad. Like I had a doctor tell me a few months ago that he actually prescribes people to take vitamin D tablets here in the area. I didn't know
You
that.
have to.
I didn't
You
know
have
they were
to.
a thing. You could just eat vitamin D.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain kinds of vitamin D though. Like there's some that's better than others, just like anything, But
Yeah,
nothing.
We're
Nothing
ultra
replaces
deficient this year.
Yeah,
So
it's bad.
I was crying the blues to Emily, and I said, it feels like it's been raining a lot more than normal. I said it's starting to get out of hand.
Right.
Sure enough, last month was the wettest month we've ever had recorded, ever.
I mean, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
because sounds like compositing nightmare.
I've been getting pretty fast at it. I don't know. I don't think it's hurt my sales. I will say I don't know that I make as much money because I've got to do all the extra work after the fact. Whereas if I shoot natural volume stuff, I can post the job that same night before 8:00, usually if we're done by 6 or 7. I can't do that with green screen. I've tried. There's just no shot.
I don't know that. Yeah, it just feels like that the natural stuff's in the minority. I just feel like everybody's going towards the composite. Is it? Do you think
it's so efficient for coaches? It's so much easier for ball clubs. It's just not easier for the contractor. It's not easier for the photographer. I mean, it might be. I do say I bring less lights. I shoot with a 3-light setup right now with Lasto light, and it's just been crushing it. But I will say I'm starting to not like my subscription to the remove.bg. I love PixNub, but the green screen setup it's so much more difficult to get perfect without spill than just using that Lasto light. And I love using the Lasto light.
You say you like your prescription, or you do not like it?
I don't like how much it costs. It's 100.
Oh.
I'm paying 130 a month. I'm sure people are paying more. It's got different levels, right? So, but it works so good, and it does speed my workflow up. It's fast.
Well, I'm a big advocate. If it's going to save you time, then, the money part, that'll just end up taking care of itself if it's going to save you time.
It does. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was talking to Emily about. Like, my time spent, making sure that I'm running my dark hair, the brunettes and the blondes, different folders and in PixNub and all, if you want to get right down to the brass tacks, there's different settings for different colored hair. I mean, even redheads, blondes, brunettes, you have to set your PixNub up correctly so that it cuts it out perfectly.
Right.
And I'm kind of getting by with not having to deal with all that extra stuff to make my stuff look really sellable. It looks really clean. And I was talking to Emily about that. We could hire an editor. It costs way more than $130 a month.
A lot more.
A lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to a SPAC chat the other day, and some of the numbers they were throwing out there. I mean, I guess I'm just not doing anything. I'm lazy.
That's not true. You just hit a big milestone on your photo day thing that you sent me. I don't know that we need to air that, but yeah, it was huge,
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Somebody's saying they're doing 10,000 composites in an hour and a half.
Who's doing that?
I don't know.
On 10 computers?
One computer. Fast.
No.
Fast AF.
No, I'm doing them. I mean, it's compositing mine in 5 to 7 seconds. Let's just say on average.
So weekends work, just 10,000.
No shot. That is not true. They're lying.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I gotta go watch the show. I gotta go watch it. I don't know who you're talking about, but now I'm intrigued because I'm not buying it. Not on one computer. That ain't happening.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about compositing, so I don't know like what they build. But yeah, it was 10,000 in an hour and a half or something like that.
It takes you longer to upload. Like, no, nope. I disagree strongly. I want to see it.
We got to do a debate.
Yep. I mean, I'll do a live. I'll do a live upload and ingest, and we can have a whole class on it. And I think I'm very efficient.
I think it was like 10,000. Like it was built. Like maybe all the automation happens, and it took an hour and a half to build 10,000. I don't know.
No, do the math. How many seconds is that
must
alone?
Be M1.
The M1's fast,
M1.
but it's still 3-4 seconds of composite. It's not. It's half. I'm half the speed. So like, yeah, an M1's 3 to 5 seconds. I'm 6 to 7.5 usually. 5.5 to 7.5 probably.
We have a laptop. I want to get like something, another one of those guys. It's pretty fast. But I mean, It's just like anything. Like I buy it and then I just give it to whoever needs it. So the girls are editing on, I mean, yeah, it's, and it's a good question because it was like, it was a topic. It was a SPAC chat and it was topic of, multi-pose, and, yeah, so everybody had their different ways of doing things, different ways of calling it. Like one lady on there says, we're not doing poses, we're doing what is it?
Looks?
Hold on. No.
Because we do looks, right? Like
right. Yeah, but that wasn't even discussed. Like that wasn't even like a thing.
Why is posing such a different language depending on what photographer you talk to?
I think it's moments.
Okay, but still, I mean, some people call those poses. It depends on who you talk to.
I mean, I guess it's a good sales. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you call it sales or like, I guess it's like calling them. Like I went to this way back in the day. I went to a PPA thing, right? It was a advanced. It was back when PPA, I felt like had a little bit more clout, right? And they had these, and I felt like we were going to the Imaging USA shows. We're like, I think we need a little bit more advanced training. So let's go to this class. And it was like I don't know, it was a 2-day class. It was extensive class, right? So me and Karina and Scott went, and it was a portrait photographer, wedding photographer. And I learned some good stuff in there. Like it was, it wasn't like I was the only sports guy, of course. But I learned some good stuff. And I called them pictures. That pissed her off. They're images.
Like went through the roof. They're images.
Don't call them pictures. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So
it depends on who you talk to. It's so different everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it though. I get it. Cause you can use language to, you don't want pictures. It sounds more like a commodity type thing. It was interesting. It was a good chat. Cause there's some real experienced people there that, they had some good info on, just their philosophy. Oh, you should watch it because they're talking about how soon do you post stuff. Some of the old school guys are like, just kind of the mystery or, of, what's happening in the background, not posting too fast. You post like in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I've heard people talk differently about it. I personally think as the week progresses, the longer you wait to get your images up, the less excitement there is to buy. That's my look on it. I mean, like I said, I don't have any hard evidence of that, but I sense it when I post galleries on whether or not I post them in the first day, 24 hours.
I mean, it's a hard thing to measure unless you just like measured the league, right? 1 year compared to the next year, but then you have to account for. You have to go, and this is another thing that was talked about was, how you count numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, the average order, we've been talking about this a long time. We talk about it a lot at boot camps. Average order really doesn't mean anything, if your participation is low. So we always, we do sales per athlete. That's the only way you can determine, how well things are going. I think you could probably take a sample set. I mean, we shoot enough leagues where I think we could do, all right, let's take these 5 leagues and let's get them turned around like in 48 hours. And let's take these 5 leagues and let's do what we normally do, 7 days, business days. Let's see what happens and see what the sales are. Be interesting.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I wish there was an algorithm already just kind of built in to tell us, but there isn't. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a mathematical equation that we could figure it out. I'm really stupid
I mean,
when it comes to that. So
I mean, it all depends on the data that you put in the system. Because with photo day, you know how it asks you for the date of the shoot, right? So they probably have all the data, like the date of the shoot and the date that the job's been published. So they can tell you, you know, basically, all right, how long did it take you to post a job, you know? And then
yeah,
they also have the data where they could probably, using the facial recognition, have individual faces. But, you know, then it's probably going to count some coaches in there. So you have to, you know, maybe take out the coaches manually. I don't know if there's any good way to automate it. Like all we do is just go through the team photos. You know what I mean?
well, there's variables too, right? Like how good was the communication leading up to the job? And then what were your sales like the day of? Were you educating everybody that day? And then as time goes on, does it kind of go to the back of their brain and they're not thinking about it after a week? Whereas they would be in the first couple of days if the communication was all good right up to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
it
all
would
that
be,
stuff will have to be constant, right? There's no.
yeah, it'd be hard to measure, you know, because our communication with some stuff isn't as good with other things, right? Depending on who our clients are that particular week sometimes. So, and depending on how busy they are, you know, our schools get pretty busy and sometimes they're like, oh no, we got to do pictures tomorrow. Can we do them?
Right.
And we'll just run out and do them.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's interesting. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you watch some of these guys, some of the guys, the old school guys are a little bit better. I think they're better business people than I am. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes I feel like we're just so busy that some of the business stuff slides,
yeah.
you know, concentrating on making good images. But at the same time, I think sometimes that if you do that, you put that first, then the rest of the stuff can kind of take care of itself. I don't know. That's not necessarily true. The business side is still super important, but there's just a happy medium, I think. You know, if you're too business oriented, just pumping out stuff, you know, and there's no real art to it. It's just like you said, like a commodity. And I feel like the composite thing, the problem with it is that technology is going to catch up with compositing quicker than it will for a natural background. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think people can get away with a little bit more being compositors sometimes, you know, because you can fluff up a background. My problem with composites, here it is. I mean, here's my honest opinion of it. I like the ease of use of it. I like that coaches are happy because it's faster for them. I look better in their eyes sometimes when we do it. Some people really love them, but you know, they go out of style eventually. You know, it's trying to keep it timeless, and we talk about this all the time, but it's so true. You're gonna have a lot more timeless image if you can shoot a baseball player on the baseball field.
Right.
And light it correctly and get a good look and get a timeless portrait of that person in their uniform, in their element. Like that's gonna last long. The longevity is there no matter what, but it just isn't there with composites. I don't care what you do to them. It's just not gonna stick. It looks great for how long? We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, let me get over here and see if I can share the screen with you.
And that's coming from a guy I've done almost 10,000 composites in the last 2 months. Not one day. That's BS. It's 2 months for me. So I just did 1,000 composites 2 days ago, 1,000 pictures, and my computer ran nonstop it took an hour, and it was like an hour and 10 minutes just for 1,000 of them.
Well, I mean, I guess you're not using the right computer.
Yeah, my big pile. Yeah.
So
I saw you post this. This is old school.
It's old school. I mean, it's a fun photo because so on the field of play, this a little bit more. We used to do these action style. Oh, they used to take so long. This is an all-star banner, but then we would just, cut out the players and put them on the banner. They were super cool, but it was raining here, of course. Did you see? Those are old Alien B lights with, or those were Einsteins, that could freeze the action really well.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. And so the raindrops came in, it ended up looking really cool. But like you said, that was 9 years ago. And, people were commenting on it today. I mean, 9 years ago, this photo here, that was 7 years ago, and I mean, this wasn't the natural, it was out Kennesaw Mountain, which is, close to us, but yeah, outdoor timeless portraits, this is funny because this player, his mom works for us. This Kira, our best salesperson is. Yeah. So yeah, I think those photos will last, forever. Oh, and look, this is another one that I like. This is why I love All-Star season, because I can shoot team shots with a 70-200.
Well, great stack too, right? Like,
yeah,
clean.
Yeah, and you shoot because rec ball, you got to back so far up that you probably don't have the time, and the kids don't have these are 11-year-olds, so they were a little bit older, but I'd love to be able to mix it up for All-Stars and give them a little something different. I mean,
well, we've never talked about that. So what do you shoot your rec teams at? You're not using a 70-200?
No, 24/7, 24-105, 24-70. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because I always shoot with. I do it myself, right? So I'm usually turning 90 degrees, and I'm shooting with my 70-200, even with my, But I'm only doing max 20 teams, a night. Like, whereas you're doing 100 on a weekend. So.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing about it is the rec stuff is, a lot of 3 and 4 year olds. I mean, it is so many 3 and 4 year olds right now. This is the most 3 and 4 year olds I feel like we shot since we've been in business.
And they're tough. They're tough.
Like, you can't back up that far.
Mm-hmm. You got to be able to communicate.
Yeah, we literally had 6 in a row the other night. They just stacked them on us, which is just
that'll put you behind instantly.
Awful.
People ask that in the groups all the time. What do you do when you get behind because you have T-ballers? You don't put them all in back to back. You spread them out.
Yeah, we had to do it. That was the makeup shoot we had to do, and they all had games.
Yeah.
It was just, there's nothing we could do. Like, it was
right.
Like it was. So we just knew. I was like, all right, guys, so we're just getting ready to get our asses handed to us. So just be prepared. So yeah, it was mayhem.
Bring the pain.
We knew it was going to be mayhem, and we were kind of short staffs. And so I had to pose them myself. So I was, I like to pose, go up there and, I pose them, and then I run back to my camera and take the photo. So doing that with 3-year-olds, I mean,
that's really tough.
Yeah. I mean, it really hones your communication skills. Let's put it that way. Like, what works, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't have anybody, right there hold them. So you have to hold their attention. You got to be fast, that is, you've got to be fast. But, that was big. A lot, only post the team, individual photos typically online. Team photos or team photo. I mean, you just got to make it look nice and clean. But I do love that look of, and it's funny because we do a lot of, like, we call them dugout style banners. Where the kids are just kind of in all different directions, with their gear, and I love that one. I like that too. But I don't know. I just love the look of just that one, especially when you had the All-Stars. Their uniforms look all clean and nice, and just doing a nice stack. I think it just looks great.
Yeah,
it's a fun photo.
No, and it's going to be timeless forever. It really will hold the test of time. It just will.
Yeah. Let's see. I had a couple more from that shoot to show you.
It's way better than your floating teams.
You just had to.
Maybe
I like to float a team every once in a while.
Nobody likes to float a team. Nobody.
Yeah. Let's see. Share screen. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is from there. I love it. I mean, the ball's a little blown out because it's close to that light, but
you can fix that in post though. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
If I want to. But what do you think about the head being cut off?
I don't hate it. I'm a firm believer in it. The closer you get with them, the more depth of field you're going to get. So you're going to get better bokeh in the back, right? Especially with a longer lens. The closer you can get and the tighter in crop you can get, the more blur you're going to get. And I love that look. And I'm a portrait photographer by heart. So I don't mind that. And I think I grew up liking that in subconsciously because, they do it in movies all the time when they get those extreme close-ups. And so it just doesn't look unnatural to me. I will say this. I have had a client in the past on a senior portrait session on a big print that we blew up. And that was how it was cropped basically. And they got all mad because they didn't notice it when they purchased it, but they did not like the head cropped off. I think there was other things at play, but because it was a great portrait regardless.
Right.
So, but I have gotten heat from clients for it before, but I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. But kind of the one thing that was concerning me with this in our area, and I don't think that you fight it in your area because baseball isn't as big, but we are we're especially where I live, this is a huge baseball area. We have a couple of facilities that are literally, one is 15 minutes from me and the other one might be 30 minutes from me, and they're like nationwide tournament venues. They're huge, all turf fields. They're awesome. But what we're finding is like our all-stars, usually we do a lot of all-star bands. We're not doing nearly as many this season. I think it's because the travel ball starting so early. We had this, kids go and play on independent travel ball clubs. They play these. So instead of playing a traditional rec ball league, they just play tournaments on the weekend. And that's it. And they start at like 7 years old.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Our rec programs aren't as strong right now, I think, as our tournament ball programs. Our tournament guys and girls are getting on. That's
what they call them, tournament ball.
Tournament ball, yeah.
And they call it travel here.
Yeah, same. It's the same. They're going to tournaments every weekend, right? They're getting more playing time, and the kids are learning more faster because they have to, because the competition levels are better. I did that with my girls. They played tournament ball starting at 8U. We played 10U. That's the league we were in, and we got beat up for 2 years straight. And then by the time they were 10, we won the whole thing. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just something that I got to pay attention to. I got to make sure I get it's kind of like starting over. I mean, you have to get in front of these teams. It's going to suck because with rec ball programs, you have these big, gigantic programs. You can get them all done in one shot. So now it's not going to be that way. You're going to have to hustle a little bit, go chase them.
Well, and I'll tell you what pushed a lot more this time around for us too was during COVID up here. Rec leagues wouldn't touch a rec program. Nobody wanted to take responsibility for that, and so people just automatically flipped right into tournament ball and just kept rolling. So it actually pushed the envelope up here even more.
So you got to take photos of those tournament teams.
We do, yeah, we do a lot. We chase, 2, 3 teams all the time.
Yeah,
it's part of why we're too busy, right? We get busy running around chasing teams here and there instead of being able to, focus on a big chunk of them at once. And so, that'll burn a guy out fast. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, there's still something to be said. I grew up playing a lot of baseball and I got burnt out, but if you would have asked me at, 9 years old, I would have played every damn day.
Yeah.
But parents, I feel like it's their job to save their kids from burnout, because if a kid is passionate about it and his friends are playing, the coach is recruiting them, they're going to play until they hate it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah,
it's kind of the job of the parents to be their sports agent, really, all right, I'm glad but if you're going to keep the passion for this, go play football, go play basketball, and then come back.
My girls played softball their whole younger career for, 8 years straight. And they played a lot of softball. And by the time they got to high school, they didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't play high school ball. That was sad.
That's depressing. Like you put
all
really that time and effort in. Yeah. I mean, it's like sometimes I think kids that start late have a little bit of advantage because they have more passion for it, I mean, you're going to get the 1 in a million kid who will play once, they go to one sport at, whenever they find out they're good, 10, 11 years old, and they love it all the way through, through college.
Yeah.
But that's kind of few and far between. It's hard to find those kids. I've just seen it so much now that, now that we've been in business for 14 years or whatever, we see it's over and over. Kids, they end up quitting because they just play too much. Just play too much.
Yeah. I mean, that goes with anything. Too much of anything is probably bad, right? Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, it is. But I just hate that, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm just up in the air with the travel ball thing. I think it's good, and I think it's bad at the same time. You know what I mean?
See, those are the ones we sell our banners to. We don't sell any rec banners, but
right.
Travel ball, they love to hang those on the dugout or on the fence. They bring them to every game.
Yeah.
So whereas rec guys, they've never bought ever banners from us.
I guess what I've got kind of old school where I would like it would be good if locally there was, all rec and then there was a awesome all-stars afterwards. You know what I mean? And then in order to, when I played when I was a kid,
that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
There was no travel ball. Yeah. You had to play rec.
Then the district tournament, you had to win district to go to regionals. And then for regional tournament, you had to win regionals to go to state. And you had to win state to go to the final thing.
They still do that, but it's not
not here.
Really?
Not your lot. No. Anybody goes to the World Series. Anybody. Just pay the money.
No way.
Yeah.
But you still got to win that tournament to get to the big
Little League, I think Little League does it right. I think Little League baseball, like there's like Dixie Youth, like there's all there's different associations. We have there's Dixie Youth down here, there's Babe Ruth, and then there's Dizzy Dean, right? Yeah. And all those, I think you can just go to the World Series. Like there's no
pay the fee.
Just pay the fee and you're in.
See, I didn't know that because over here you still reading the paper. This team won regionals. They're going to the next round. They're gonna, if they win there, they get to go to.
Is it Little League? Is like Little League baseball? Is it like the
It's like majors, minors. Not once you get to Babe Ruth, obviously that doesn't happen there. But majors and minors though still.
Well, that's Little League. Well, Little League it's like all the little associations have their different rules. Yes. And rules. And this is crazy we're talking about. But look, you need to know like stuff as a photographer. You need to know all this stuff because you need to know like when the seasons change, when you're supposed to be getting business, like being able to talk with the coaches and figure out who's doing what is really important because like everything is shifting where we're at now. So I need to know where the travel ball programs are. Like I'm not going to go chase one or two teams, but when a travel ball league gets up, I mean, if they call me, of course I'll shoot them. But we had a travel ball program where they had, 20 teams. That's almost like a rec league at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd run to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of have to know all this stuff. But anyways, they all have their little separate rules. But the thing about Little League is, and what I really kind of discovered is when, we're starting to shoot in Florida and you have to live within the geographical location in order to play for whatever park. So it really makes the park small. They can't get these big parks because if you live right outside of the territory, then you can't play at that park, which I think is crazy.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think that's crazy. Like I get that they're trying to keep it local, but damn, if you live in the same county, you should be able to go play
you're back to rec. I mean, basically, you're just a good rec league.
Yeah, it goes to rec. So the problem with Little League that I found is like there's one particular one we have down in Florida. They got like 6 baseball fields and they don't have that many teams because they don't have enough kids that live in the immediate area. I'm like, that is just like a waste of a bunch of awesome fields. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, they have this park and they don't have enough teams. And like where we're at, like facilities are at a premium, it's hard to get a field. Yeah. So I just sometimes I think it's a little bit of a waste when you limit, because the thing is, it just depends on where you live. There might be a time period where you don't have a lot of little kids. Maybe you could recruit a little bit on the outer edges of the.
We just ran into it. We couldn't get a field for shoot day, so we ended up shooting composite anyway. And it was on a nice day, but it didn't matter because that one nice day had been raining so much. Every field was taken up because everybody had makeups. There was no shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
21 teams.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't know. So I'm kind of up in there whether we'll shoot anything, but it's a lot more difficult with all these travel ball teams on the photography. But I do have to say that the leagues are actually going up here because we're having, I don't know what's going on. There's a bunch of 3 and 4 year olds teams.
That's good.
A ton of them. Yeah, makes the shoots a whole lot harder, but the numbers have been good. I was
going to say the payoff on that's good. Anytime you can get into that, littler kids, moms are going to love them. They love them still. We talked about that too. Yeah. They get into middle school and they don't love them as much. So
yeah.
You still get them young. They still love them and they'll still buy pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing I wonder too is like the travel ball programs being that they're small, are they more likely going to go with a mom photographer than a company? Because it's not that big,
maybe. I mean, I didn't shoot a league here because the dad had a camera, and his kids play on it. So I lost one that I've been shooting for a long time, just recently.
Yeah.
Happens.
It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
our sales numbers have been great. So I'm not, not going to complain too much. We're thankful.
Yeah. As I look at my calendar, like my feelings were hurt a little bit, but to be honest, and maybe my pride more than anything, but I don't know that I would have had time anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I get pissed off every time I lose a league, or if I lose a team, I'm mad.
Yeah. But something comes up every time, right?
What?
For me, something fills it every time.
Yeah. I mean, my builder, the guy we're building the house right now, and my builder, who I talk to every day, is a good friend of mine. His travel team program, they went with another photographer. I'm like, what in the hell?
The guy building your house.
Building my house. I'm paying him a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That's hard to swallow.
I think that they had I don't know. I think he's all fired up. So yeah, man, we're gonna get you in the program. We got like 10 teams or whatever. And didn't pull it off for me.
He didn't have enough pull.
No. And his wife is a photographer too. And his wife is a fantastic preschool photographer. She's awesome. But that's her thing, preschool. She doesn't want to do sports, And I do some preschools, but I really don't want to do it. I want to do sports. I'm about done with the preschool thing.
We just did one. We just did they had infants. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I like? I'm not a baby photographer. That's not my jam. I mean, but it was fun. It was fun little challenge. Of course, I hit up Sue Ann Cannon, who is also with Photo Day, and I was panicking. I was like, I have this and this and this. Now what? Like, what if it doesn't look at me? Like, do I? I mean, obviously, I know how to get a baby's attention, but sometimes you can't. They're so difficult.
Dude,
if they're having a bad day, it's over. And you can't spend 45 minutes with one kid when you're shooting a whole school of them.
You gotta go. And it's like, I mean, it is emotionally exhausting shooting those little kids. I mean, you have to smile the whole damn time, which is fine. I mean, whatever. I'm so sick. The thing, what I found for little kids that makes them smile the most, if I ask them what they have for breakfast, whatever.
That's mine.
I don't know why.
I ask them how they, like, if they don't, this is my line every time. Smile and mean it, and then show your teeth. How do you even eat breakfast? Let me see your teeth. And then they smile almost every time.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're missing teeth. That's another whole issue. Like, we could talk about that for months, but I have found after doing schools for so many years that the younger kids specifically will bite their lips and smile with pursed lips because they don't want to show their teeth because they're missing one or two and somebody has made fun of them. It's a pandemic. It's the real pandemic. It's a problem.
No, the problem is these girls who are, what do you call them, tweenies?
I don't know.
Right? They're not quite teenagers. Maybe some they won't smile with their teeth, and then they walk away and they smile and they have this beautiful. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I do know what you're talking about. Yep, it is a thing.
It's a thing with girls. I'm like, all right, are we smiling? And they're like,
or no. How about when you go to give them, hey, game face, right? And then they just bust up laughing, looking away for 5 minutes. Yeah. Like, you can't even get them back.
That's a 14, 15-year-old.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Boys do it too. It's not just girls. Boys will get into that giggle mode too.
Oh yeah, that's
boys might be worse in some cases. To be honest,
let me tell you. I mean, you're talking about it at the wrong time, because this is the end of the season. Like, I know, like, I need a break is when I start getting like kids
mad at it.
I'm like. Because I love kids. I love working with kids, and then when my temper gets short with kids, I know it's time for me to take a break. It always happens like in May. I'm like done. I'm done. And I'm so bad. 95% of the people out there are fantastic,
Right.
Oh, we were shooting in Tennessee last week, and I had one coach. Yeah. So, but we haven't talked since Tennessee. Yeah, it was a gigantic soccer league. So we had one coach who was talking in the line, and he was such an ass. I'm like, I mean, I'm literally 5 feet from you, and you're talking about like how the system isn't any good. And I'm just like I look and I want to see when, it's just kind of like when you're driving a car, somebody is dumb, you have to pull up beside them so you can look and see what an asshole looks like. Like, what is this guy? You know what I mean? And so I looked over at him and I was like, you know what? That is exactly what an asshole looks like right there. That's the dude. That is classic. And he was so loud. I'm just like, what are you talking about? And he was talking about how the compositing and technology and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, dude, there is 110, 15 teams out here. I am not compositing 115 teams. I'm gonna tell you right now. And I mean, it's like
it only takes an hour and a half.
It was I don't know. No. So it should take 13 minutes, right? Because it's 13 minutes. It's like, meanwhile, we're sitting at the most beautiful soccer field ever because there's an airport behind it and it's just beautiful, So why would you want a composite? It makes no sense.
They don't know. It's like when parents tell you they don't like a pose because they're sitting off to the side and they didn't like it. So,
thank goodness, like the people that run the league, they're like, we can't stand the composites. Like we're doing natural backgrounds. Like this is the way. Like they will wait. You know what I mean? Like we got rained out twice. They will wait for natural backgrounds.
Yeah.
So that I appreciate. Like we will bend over backwards for that league to make it work.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, we're just not. I mean, we haven't. I'm not anywhere close to what you could do through composites. You could probably do it, but the thing is, I think wouldn't it be pretty tough though? I mean, if everybody's wearing the same uniform. You better be you better be on your just everything documented perfectly.
I screw it up when it's just a couple teams sometimes. So I couldn't imagine how many mess ups I might have in 100. It depends on your workflow. Honestly, you can do it efficiently and effectively if you have enough help to.
You got to have enough help, right? Like you can't.
You can't just go in to think, I don't need any help because I'm going to composite all this and go right. You still have to treat it, efficiently and manage your team and manage who you're shooting at that time and then be able to separate that from the next team.
Yeah.
What happens when you get into a situation like that, specifically with bigger leagues like that, and you're compositing, it happens on smaller ones too, but you be shooting, you'll be going along and everybody's, you start when the team gets there, just like you normally would. You get through everybody, then you shoot a couple more teams and sure enough, one or two kids shows up. I'm late. My team was here an hour ago. And so you're like, all right, well, hop in here. We'll get your stuff taken care of. And then off they go. You have to be able to manage that because it happens.
Yeah. You have to be able to document it. And if you don't document it,
you're fouled, especially if their uniforms look the same. That's happened to me. Like, I mean, even with the 21 teams we were shooting the other day, I put a girl on the wrong team. She had the same uniform, same pants, didn't match anyone else's gear, but matched the wrong team. And so I automatically thought she was part of a different team. And thank goodness when I uploaded, the coach called me immediately and was like, hey, this girl's not on our team. I was like, oh, no. Okay, well, good. Because I'm concerned where she was and I didn't have her written down. So I ended up moving her to the right team. But yeah. But she wasn't even wearing the same uniform.
If you say, it's the same thing with paper order forms because we would have so many mistakes with paper order forms, that's what was the worst part of that whole deal. But is if you say you had 115 teams that day, right? And you were 95% accurate, right? 95%. So that means 5% you didn't get right.
Lot. Yeah.
That's 6 teams. That's 60 players.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you start compounding those numbers and you're talking about 10,000.
Yeah.
If you had 10,000 in the weekend, hour and a half, can you imagine like the mistakes that you have to manage on the back end?
Right.
I can't.
No.
I mean,
it's so much harder too to go back in and fix one of those than it is to just do it right the first time. It takes exponential more time to fix it than it does to just get it right.
Listen, my wife Karina, who runs the back end office here, I have no interest in doing composite because I know I will screw it up. I know I will. Like, I'm not good. I'm terrible. I'm just I get so involved in the process of taking photos and I'm talking to kids, engaging with the kids and, talking to the coaches, the parent, everything's going on. And I am the worst about all that stuff. Yeah. I hate it. I hate touching anything. So
Well, that's why photo day has been great, right? I mean, it took away so much of that. There's
Yeah, we
still
still
a
got to
little
write
bit.
image numbers though.
Well,
That's the
so
thing. I
it's
hate it.
like anything, bad information in, bad out, right? You still have to do some things, but
Right.
it sure took away, I'd say 85% of those things that I
Oh
hated.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Cause writing image numbers, cause yeah, I would not, we'd write, I write the, call out the wrong image number, or whoever is, writing it down, writes it down wrong. Again, if you have somebody who's 95% accurate, but you still shot, thousands of kids that weekend. What we do,
Yeah.
two shoots on Saturday, two shoots on Sundays, and then, and then we shoot Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if you start, those mistakes start piling up, whoo, man,
Fast.
it's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
You get
So
behind quick.
yeah. Well, I'm excited. Photo day, I think they're going to redoing their shopping cart and all that sort of stuff. So that's really the only, area where I think we can improve a good bit, and I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see what they have in store.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
my parents and clients will love that when that's when it's a full on shopping cart across the board. There's ways around it, right? There's where it just depends on what your workflow is. Like you could take everything after 6 months and put them all in one archive gallery and put it on Face Find only or something, and then if parents got used to that and waiting though, then you're waiting 6 months to get paid, and that's not a good business model, really. So yeah,
I mean, what we do 90% of the time is we shoot in public galleries. So basically people have to they have to text an access code, and then they get text message back, and then we're done editing the photos and they get to view the photos, and then we have everything tagged. Like, that's why I write image numbers down. So if they're the 10U Braves on the left-hand side, they can click on 10U Braves, but they can use facial recognition. If they use facial recognition, then we wouldn't have to do anything, right? Come take the photo whenever, we're good. But that's not, people don't always do that. So we have to, we're trying to make it as easy for the customers as we can to find the photos. And the system works great for us. We don't do the private gallery thing much, which I think takes a lot more work. Right. And I think
you have to do it in gymnastics. It's like a law, right?
You got to do it in gymnastics. Yes.
So you do it. You use it on that probably, right?
Yep.
And then we do it for schools, obviously. And it works great for schools, but then there's this new way that Sport Dad guy was doing stuff where you can shoot in a folder and have Photo Mechanic name that folder if you have a spreadsheet before you even start.
Yeah. So Sport Dad is a guy that was on one of the groups that me and Justin saw, who's a Photo Mechanic wizard, and has a different method of doing things. And I got the class. I haven't watched it yet. I've watched a little bit of it. I haven't watched the whole thing. Justin's watched it. So
it's nice. It depends on the gear you have, on how nice it works. His workshop, I think, is super reasonable for the information he gives. So you guys could check that out if you want to know more about Photo Mechanic. He's the only one using it that way, apparently. So that was kind of cool to see how he uses it. There's some caveats, obviously. We're all looking for the best tool for what we're doing, right? And so I'm always down to hear somebody else's workflow and see if I can take tidbits of that and use that in my own personal business. So I think that's what keeps us saying, if you can hear somebody's trick that helps you save a little bit more time so you can be a real human and not work so much, that's what we're all looking for. So
yes. So I gotta watch it. I gotta see if it'll work with Canons.
I know it will. I mean, but you would have to change, like I was already talking to you about how it works, but you can't have that backup card. It won't you can't build a folder on site exactly what you want it to build if you're using two JPEG or two cards and your backup's a JPEG one, and you've had it in your card in that card slot for 6 months, and you already have a bunch of folders that are already made. So you can't just name a folder with a folder that's already named in that backup. Your camera will not let you. It won't let you do it. So, there's a caveat there.
Yeah, I got to figure that part out. Hopefully there's a workaround for that, but I got to have the backup card. Got to have the backup card. If I don't have the backup card, we are screwed.
Yeah, we were talking about I go back to mine all the time, like sometimes Lightroom won't even pick them up, maybe you came back from getting your cup of coffee too fast and they weren't all in there when you selected all and then exported,
Stuff happens. I'm telling you, I don't know why, but stuff happens. I did I don't know what I did. I still can't figure this out, but I looked in a team folder the other day, and there's 5,400 images in there. I had uploaded the entire memory card, into the files.
Yeah.
Just do stupid stuff. I mean, but the thing is, when you're working every day, you make mistakes. It just is, if I had 2 shoots a week, then everything would be perfect. No problems. But when you got 8, there's problems that happen. You have to have that backup card.
I come home halfway through my day sometimes just to make sure I dump a card, or so I can get a head start on editing before I get back that night. Or there's just I always mess up when I'm in a hurry too. No matter what, I will make 100%. A mistake if I am rushing. If I ran to a shoot the other day, forgot my HDMI cable that I needed to go to my Ninja.
That is the worst. That is the worst. That's stupid, and you can't get
one little cable. No, nobody has that.
Oh my God!
You can't go anywhere and find one of those.
No,
not the one I needed.
Yeah, my new rule was not talking on the phone while I was packing up, because I've made so many mistakes just forgetting one little piece of gear that can.
I don't even want anyone helping me load my truck, because I got it in my head and I want to make sure that I see it go in my truck.
You got to have a checklist.
I know, but I still don't use them. Because
I have to.
I'll be in a hurry and I won't look at the whole checklist. I'll do something stupid, so it's, I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of thinking so Jody, who's one of our shooters, she's super creative. She's very artsy. She draws good. She has different color hair every 5 minutes. She's just good at artsy stuff. Like whenever we have to write the access code on the A-frames, Jody's the one who does it because her handwriting's all neat. But she leaves shit everywhere. I'm sorry, I'm cursing, but she just leaves everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, worse than me. I mean, I lose everything, so I have but I'm just kind of thinking that creatives have such a hard time with.
I just ordered one of these because I couldn't find my other one. I'm sure it's sitting on a field somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I have mine somewhere over here. But
this is important with mirrorless cameras. If you don't own one of these with mirrorless cameras, you'll regret your life decisions.
What are you doing? Are you just when you change your lenses, you just
every time I change a lens, I give her a little pop every time. Every time. Because you're going to get dust on your sensor. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah. Give her a little
pop. I don't care how special you got it. Yeah. Because you can't blow on it. You get water on it and then you're screwed.
Yeah. All right, we got to go. It's 47 minutes.
That went by fast.
We went fast. It's been a couple weeks.
We didn't even have an agenda. Nothing. We just BS. There's no way people listen to these whole things. If you do, like and subscribe right now.
Yeah, right now. You got to say that at the beginning.
No, they got to wait to hear it.
Yeah.
It's special.
Yeah. All right.
Less cussing next time.
Yeah, sorry. It's
it's the end of the season for you.
Yeah, it's the end of the season.
I love that's right in the middle for me. It's right in the middle for me.
Yeah.
You guys just get better weather faster.
Yes. Well, everybody wants to go to All-Stars.
You had a lot of rain this year too, though. More than normal.
What was it that was a problem this year? Was it rain?
You had all kinds of rainouts.
Wind was
wind.
Wind.
Yeah.
Wind was bad. It's no good.
We all got something.
All right, everybody go buy an AD 1200. Quits asking me about how do I get to look. It's an AD 1200. Don't get a 400 watt light. Don't get a
$1,000 right now.
$1,000. It's the best deal possible.
I gotta go buy another one. I don't need it, but I should go buy it. You have 5 already, right? You need 6.
Yeah, because I want to have 3 shoots going on the weekend.
Have you had a tube go out yet? Have you had a flash tube go out on any?
Scott broke one.
Did he break it? He dropped it?
Yeah, and it broke the flash
tube.
But
you haven't had one burn out.
No.
But you
gotta check those things. Like you gotta, with all the Godox sites, whenever every shoot, I push those things in. They're always
out,
loose.
and I always hit it with my. It's like a habit now. Yeah,
they're loose all the time.
They rattle out when you're commuting. They just rattle out of the holes. 100%.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get one. I don't want to spend $1,000. I mean, I've already got so many of them. But the thing is, what is the equivalent though? There isn't
nothing.
One.
Nobody
brown
has
color.
No. What's the brown color one? $3,200.
Yeah, for the pack.
I think
maybe.
it's $2,400 just for the pack with no head.
Right. Then you got to buy the head.
I'm gonna hold on. We're lying
No,
to people right now.
no, I don't think it's. I think it's more expensive than that. I think that it is. Pro Photo doesn't have anything higher than a 600 watt, right?
Which is so weird because they used to.
They used to.
Oh,
I've used
Broncolor 1200L battery pack with lithium battery charger, no head, $48.71, and that's savings $860 right now. They're normally $5,700.
Then you have to buy a certain head, right?
Yeah, you don't even have the head yet.
But then there's
the heads do
different things.
Oh my god, the head's ridiculous. $1,400.
Then is it the mounting system?
Here's the Move Outdoor Broncolor kit with a head, $64.81.
No soft boxes. Do you have to buy Broncolor soft boxes?
Yeah, because it doesn't come with the.
It's not a Bowens mount or anything like that.
It's not a Bowens mount, no. Imagine.
Yeah. So you're 10 grand, right?
10 grand into that thing with a modifier and the Bowens mount.
Listen,
you can buy 1,200. Oh
the lights are solid. The problem is my transmitters. Like I guess
they break so much.
Oh my god! I have a camera right now. I can't get the transmitter off. Had 3 of them do that.
Yeah, I thought it was because I had a brand new Sony, and I thought it was just hard to do. It doesn't matter. You can't even. You got to be so gentle, and you will break it if you don't take care to take those off and on. It will break right in front of your face.
Yeah, I got it. That's the only problem. That I love the way the transmitter works is fantastic.
Yeah,
have you seen the Broncolor transmitter? Is the old school Godox transmitter, that flat thing? They're terrible. They want you to use the phone. I'm like, okay, all right. That is not. I'm not using my phone to control my lights. Just no. Your phone's gonna die. You're always no. Like that is like just the dumbest thing. I mean, I guess if you're in a studio all day and you have it plugged in, I guess.
Those aren't working people. Business owners who work and shoot, their phone rings all day anyway. There's no way you're going to use it for a trigger.
No, there's just no way. It's insanity to me. So, I mean, I love it, but the thing is, it's $79. Please make it $179 and get the build quality a little bit better.
Make it metal.
Just something like they have the what is the other thing? The Fusion thing, but it's $500.
I don't know. It's too much.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
All right, we went over.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
Bye.
Feel better?
Maybe.
All right, bye.